Welcome to Save As Ability, a podcast to educate and inform you about disability employment issues. My name is David D'Arcangelo, and I'm your disability policy expert. Hey everybody, welcome back for another episode of Save As Ability. It's great to be back with you. David D'Arcangelo, another episode here. If you can help us continue to grow, like, subscribe, share, comment, all of that really does help us keep great content flowing for you. And we're taking the liberty here. This is, I think, our 125th episode. So we're going to have a little bit of a reflections episode here. And the thing that prompted this was as I was checking out some content from other creators, because I do look around for ideas and, want to try to keep up with, what people want and the trends that are happening in podcasting and vlogcasting and all of that. As you know, if you consume us on either iTunes or Spotify or one of the podcasting services, but also on YouTube, and you're consuming it as a video, as a vlogcast, either way. But the data point that I read was that only 10% of podcasts make it past episode 5. And then of those that make it past episode 5, only another 10% make it to episode 100. So here we are on episode 125. I gotta think that puts us in like the, I don't know, in the small percentage. I don't know what percentage it is, maybe 1 or 2% or whatever it is. But there's probably not a lot of podcasts and vlogcasts that have made it to 125 episodes. So I wanted to take this time to reflect. First, I want to give a shout out and a thank you to our producer, Talonzo Amos, and his company, Pod Pro Entertainment, does a great job for us. And it's a great collaboration that we have. So first, I want to thank him. But I also want to thank everybody else in my sphere of influence that has helped to make all these episodes possible. I think we've done a little bit more than half with guests. So for all of the guests and people related, thank you for being part of our journey here, I guess, with Save As Ability. And, we're going to keep going. We're trying our best here. And actually, Archangel Communications and Pod Pro Entertainment are actually looking at a venture of how we can bring more podcasting and vlogcasting to people, because many of our guests and others have expressed like, hey, I want to do what you're doing. So we're coming out with yourvirtualpodcast.com. More to come on that in the future. We're not here to plug that. We're here to say thank you and to reflect. And let's talk a little bit about some of the episodes we've done. So we've done episodes. I think you see the main theme that's run throughout. The main theme of our podcast here, of Save As Ability, is to promote dignity and self-determination and access to opportunities for people with disabilities to be independent and self-determined. We're trying to improve the human condition. That's really the bottom line, is talking about issues that have been longstanding challenges in society, but particularly as they impact people with disabilities. So that's kind of like the main theme. But what have we focused on? Well, in order to achieve independence and self-determination, we emphasize that employment is important. That's going to really help you become independent and self-determined, get access to opportunities, and really to be free. That's the goal. There is, we believe that if you can make your own pay and your own way, that you'll have more freedom to do what you want to do and to make good on your talents and abilities. Remember, you can't have a disability without first having ability. So that's what we choose to focus on here at Save As Ability. That's kind of like the overarching theme, with one of our main themes being employment. But then recently, and actually all throughout, but even recently, we focused a little bit more, and we've got some more great guests coming up, by the way, on entertainment. Well, why is that? We believe that people with disabilities have been underrepresented. I mean, whatever data point you want to look at, the low end, it's 8%. If you go with the American Community Survey, it's around 12 or 13%. If you go with higher measures like the World Health Organization, could be as much as 20 or even more percent of our entire population are persons with disabilities, right? These are significant numbers. And yet when you look in mainstream media, movies, television, all the things you're consuming, is there 10% or whatever percentage you want to attribute to it
of those individuals as depicted as people with disabilities, or stories that involve the human condition of people with disabilities? I don't know. I think there's been underrepresentation there. So what we've tried to do is talk about it, give people platforms so that they can talk about all the great things they're doing. Because remember, we're positive here at Save Disability. We're trying to move the ball forward. So this isn't about, oh, what we haven't done in the past. There's plenty of people who want to talk about the past and, just focus exclusively on that. No, we're sober about the challenges, but we do try to present it in a positive light, because that's how you're going to get good gains. You're going to get good gains by being positive, by being constructive, and moving things forward that way. So we've chosen to use entertainment as a theme here and media as a theme, because we really want to get all the stories out of people with disabilities, because they're great stories. That's the human condition, oftentimes overcoming very significant challenges. That's that and disability, the lack of. That's very real, and we shouldn't discount that and play it off like it's just some other thing. No, but we want to emphasize all of the wonderful ways that people are ameliorating their disability to really maximize their ability. And that's the goal here. And we think that by presenting positive images throughout media and giving that more attention, that can help. So that's another theme. And then, otherwise, not topic area wise, but I hope you recognize what we're trying to do and what we've done all along. And I rely upon you to check me if I get something wrong, but that is data. The data sources we're using are really solid in that they're very large measures. We're looking at the American Community Survey. We're looking at the BRFIS and the SIP and, these major publicly developed and deployed systems of measurement, I guess, put out by the Census Bureau, put out by the Labor Department. Like, are those numbers perfect? No, they're not. We know that. They're far from it, as a matter of fact. But it is the data that we have, and it is a large measure. So do we feel confident in it? Yeah. I mean, there's margins of error there, but you've got to be anchored in data. And that's our really big thing that we try to bring into every episode here, is not just, it's not just my opinion. Although my opinion's leaking, I can't help it. We're trying to make this a data-driven exercise and really play it down the middle to provide our listeners and viewers with really good quality information. And, I'm sure there's things we've gotten wrong, and check us on it. We want that. All right. And then another thing, not necessarily a topic, although we did make it the topic of, I think, 2 episodes. The theme we try to promote is the meritocracy and merit-based. And that's really one of the brilliant parts of the Americans with Disabilities Act, which is the preeminent disability law. It's, federal civil rights law for people with disabilities. It's an anti-discrimination law, basically making sure that people with disabilities have access to opportunities, right? Well, within that, the ADA, like particularly in employment, if you look at employment, it says that you must be able to do the essential functions of the job, the essential job duties, right? So that's, in essence, like the meritocracy, right? Like, you've got to be able to have the skills and talents and abilities to be able to do the job. And then when you can, you shouldn't be discriminated against. And we should provide reasonable accommodations and, reasonably modify programs and policies. Again, all the ADA stuff, whether it's Title 1, 2, 3, doesn't matter. So again, those are the themes. Those are the things we try to stay moored to. Good data, quality references to the various laws, and because it can get complicated, right? And so what we're trying to do is really, I guess, try to popularize or in time simplify some policies and laws and regulations and things that can be complicated. So we're trying to get that out there for you to benefit you or people in your orbit that are people with disabilities. And, it becomes bigger than people with disabilities. It becomes like when you have 2/3 of all working age individuals with disabilities not in the labor force, that's not a disability issue. That's a society issue. Think of all the talent on the sidelines there. Think of all the great ideas for whatever it is, for an invention or for a recipe or for whatever the case may be. All of that sitting on the sideline, it doesn't do the individuals with disabilities any good. It doesn't do society good. Okay? because they have talent, they have ability. We want to get that out of them, work together. And again, that's our theme. So, as we conclude here, we do want to make sure that we're listening to you. So again, like, comment, share. Yeah, that's to build the channel, but we also want to hear from you. That interactivity helps shape our episodes and keep me honest. I don't get everything right all the time, and I want to be right for you and for our listeners and guests. And again, thank you to all the guests and that we've had and the ones that we have in the pipeline. We've got some really good ones coming up. So we appreciate you for listening, for watching. And again, if you can like, subscribe, share, comment, all of that really does keep great content flowing for you and helps to grow our audience and channel and get these issues out there more, which I think will benefit everybody. So it's a little bit of a recap episode here at 125. Not many podcasts or vlogcasts make it to 125. So thank you again to you for listening and watching, and everybody who's participated, all our guests, Terlonzo, and everybody else who helps make Save Visibility possible. It's David D'Arcangelo, our 125th episode of Save Visibility. Thank you, and I hope you have a great day.
For more information about disability employment issues, please visit our website, disabilityemploymentsolutions.com. The Save As Ability podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, our YouTube channel at Disability Policy Expert, or wherever you stream your podcasts. Subscribe, stream, rate, and review our shows. Your ratings and reviews help our show reach new audiences. Produced by Pod Pro Entertainment. Save As Ability lives within a network of podcasts located at podproentertainment.com. #TheNewRadio. Again, my name is David D'Arcangelo, and I'm your disability policy expert. Until next time, thank you. I hope you have a great day.